Good afternoon again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We'll get to the JRC in a moment, but first, the disclaimer and the trigger warnings. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, pertinent links are going to be right there in the description box for you, along with a few labels, so that you know what you're clicking on. So should you want to do a deep dive on the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center and places like it, like Agape Boarding School, Canada Camp, Tobin World, all pertinent links right in there for you. Trigger warning, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. For one, I do use profanity. For two, when we talk about places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center, you're going to hear vivid descriptions, advocates, clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. So, if you have a child that is 16 or younger and they are watching this, parental supervision is advised. Now, thankfully, we got us back to another sane comment. Let me go ahead and get to it here. It says, I am writing to comment that Dr. Matthew Israel, the founder of the Judge Rotenberg Center, based his ideas off of B.F. Skinner's 1948 Walden 2, which Dr. Israel read in college. If you guys remember, we actually watched all together, and I actually forwarded it out kind of everywhere. That Sacred Hand documentary that was made on what has gone down at the JRC, where they mentioned specifically Walden 2 and just how quickly they got dystopian into Dr. Israel's hands. I do have that documentary linked also in the description box. If you haven't watched it yet, I suggest that you do so. It is one of the best, most comprehensive documentaries on the JRC that I've actually managed to find yet. I believe that literature can inspire people to do both good and bad things, the latter of which happened here. This is an example of literary inspiration gone awry. Here it has gone so awry that the people at the Judge Rotenberg Center are using devices, ESDs, to hurt people. And folks, this is not our words. Dr. Matthew Israel is on camera, doing an interview. I believe it was with ABC or NBC News, saying, yes, it's supposed to hurt. They are designed to hurt people. So anybody else who wants to come out of the woodwork and try and say that, no, but it stops the behaviors and all that, no. I don't care what kind of language you use to try and make abuse okay, it's still abuse. You can call it discipline, you can call it consequences, you can call it medicine or treatment, but at the end of the day, abuse is abuse is abuse is abuse. Okay? It doesn't change what it is just because the individual who is administering it has a few letters behind their name. It doesn't become justifiable just because the individual who's on the receiving end happens to have a developmental disability. I don't care what the circumstances are. I don't care how severe the behaviors are. You can't cure self-injurious behavior and self-abuse by being a direct care staff that will abuse us instead. How does that logic work? It does, obviously. Fear cannot be used as a permanent behavior modifier. If you don't believe me, go read history sometime. French Revolution, ring any bells? Resentment will stay around for centuries, but eventually the dam will bust. It always does. Fear is no tool to be used to modify behavior. because fear wears off. And in its wake is resentment, anger, and trauma. And unless you're an individual who, like me, had access to some damn good mental health help, yeah, just saying. So preach it. Preach it. Thank you, Mr. Joseph, sir. I didn't even think to hide the name, but I must say it anyways. This example of literary inspiration gone awry. Anyone who bases their choice to use a harmful device off of a fictional book, not to mention against vulnerable children. Children who, I might add, are not given a choice. Stop with the consent bullshit. Just because my parents sign off on something doesn't make it suddenly not abuse. If it is put on me against my will, not for anything that I have done wrong, but simply because I'm reacting how someone who is born like me reacts when we get triggered by something, that isn't okay. Would you do it to a neurotypical who was misbehaving and saying it was to properly modify their behavior because they're no longer doing it out of fear? Suddenly they're betters? No, the hell you wouldn't. The torches and pitchforks would be out. If it's not okay to modify dangerous neurotypical behavior, it's not okay to modify dangerous behaviors from individuals like myself, point blank, period. I do not comprehend or understand what's not to get here. It's not complicated. People who say it's complicated usually follow it up with character assassination and victim blaming. Almost every damn time. So, kudos to Joseph and preach it here. Now, he did include an attachment which we're going to pull up here on the school shock. Looks like this one is not downloadable, but that being said, go to the description box. We have that whole documentary on Dr. Matthew Israel and the JRC that was expertly done by the Sacred Hand. I believe it's Sacred Hand. I'll look for it and I'll go ahead and include it at the top of the description box so that you all can find it and can click on it and watch it for yourselves. But I definitely highly recommend it because we're talking some very dark dystopian stuff. Like stuff that you would expect would be the basis for a horror movie, but it is actual real life. And I know that makes this particular video a little bit short, so I do apologize for that. But my God, do we love an individual who calls things out quickly. Black and white, the way it actually is. Doesn't try to overcomplicate it. Does not try to defend themselves with never-ending nonsensical word salad that induces migraines on all of us. Or the never-ending run-on sentences that probably has my Grandma Daniels spinning in her grave as a former English teacher. It's just straight and to the point. And a breath of fresh air, especially in this environment. And we're going to close on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel, and the few we do tend to get removed from time to time. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, don't forget to hit the comments, and please make sure that you are still set up to receive notifications and double check the bell. And we are going to continue on, yes, even in spite of the bill passing, on our series on Medicaid, Social Security, SNAP, and Section 8. So be on the lookout for those. I do appreciate your time, and as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you can have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.